Hello my friends and welcome back to a new exciting Subnautica 2 video. This week we got our first Subnautica 2 devlog, titled Road to Early Access, where we get some more information about what we can expect in Early Access, how it's gonna go, and how we, the community, can contribute to making the game better. So let's quickly go through it. This is just gonna be a short recap. Now we get started with Anthony here, the design lead for the next Subnautica game, and he introduces it as the most ambitious Subnautica game they have ever created, which is most definitely very exciting. Now we already knew this game was gonna go into early access, so as with the other games, if you're there for the ride, you'll be able to see all of the development as it happens from update to update. Now here, we get some first glimpses of how they're crafting a new biome. What you're looking at here is Unreal Engine 5. They're currently placing some sort of a static mesh that makes up the floor of the cave, and we see some of that reddish tint we might have already seen in some previous screenshots from the game. Here we see a quick flyby through a more bluish biome. Now if this was below zero, I would have guessed that this is ice, but given that it isn't, it is more likely to be some type of rock. There's a lot of glowing stuff, and you can really see lumen lighting doing a lot of work here. It looks absolutely gorgeous, even viewed like this in editor. Now here we see some footage from the internal build Fred. There's a lot of intense glowy red light and this strange thing, which we've seen in previous materials related to the next game. You can also see the UI seems to have moved to the top left corner, something that might be kind of divisive. I've seen some people say that they would prefer it, back where it used to be. Then again, I really wouldn't be surprised if this kind of stuff was modifiable in the game's settings. Now here we see the player scanning the plate coral. On the left you see some of that updated UI. You also see the new scanner here. And the scanner also looks interesting. Now previously we saw some bits of what could have been precursor technology kind of integrated into the tools. Here I'm not really seeing that. This seems to be a very sort of Altera issued standard tool. Now it seems to be more modern than what you get in the original Subnautica, which could perhaps signify some sort of a time jump. Maybe the technology has gotten even better. And here the player is scanning some sort of a slime, seemingly. The PDA tells you that it might contain useful genetics, something we know the game will be leading into, kind of the manipulation of genes. So, it might be that really scanning all types of plants in the game will actually be very, very useful. And finally, we can see them scanning a copper node. Now, there is something on the compass in the top left, akin to maybe a life pod or an emergency pod, something like that. Now, again, here you can see some more stuff being shown in editor. This is presumably for the habitat builder, which the player appears to have equipped. You gotta love the work in progress, don't bug text that's everywhere. Again, obviously, a lot of this stuff is very work in progress, so I wouldn't fixate too much on how the UI looks. A lot of it is going to change as the game nears early access, and then of course, eventually nears full release. And now this bit is super cool. Here we can see some of the new base building. It looks like you will now be able to disable snapping, which is freaking awesome. Here they appear to be building some sort of supports for the base, which is very interesting. I wonder if that is something you're going to have to now add for, integrity. But I will note that the player currently has 0.71 out of 5 titanium. Not sure what that means. Just want to point out that the biome around looks very nice. There's what seems to be brain coral, maybe? Or something similar, just a bunch of purple coral. Now here we're seeing some more stuff being built. This is using the foliage tool that Unreal Engine 5 comes equipped with. On the top right in the world partition map, you can actually see a location titled Coral Gardens. World partition is awesome when you're working on a massive level. You can load into chunks and allow multiple developers to work on it at the same time. In the bottom in the content browser, you can again see that yes, Coral Garden will seemingly be a biome since there is a file for all the foliage that is supposed to be in it. Now this one is quite interesting. This seems to be some sort of a custom plugin maybe into Unreal Engine made by Unknown Worlds that they're using here. Not exactly sure what that is. But looking at the map here, I love the amount of verticality in it and the varied terrain. This will be so much fun to explore. I absolutely cannot wait. In this next one, I will also point out that the number of slots at the bottom has increased, and now there is like a little DNA symbol in the top left. So again, the UI is likely going to be changing a lot, but I absolutely love the animation of the fish hitting the little rock or whatever it is. And of course, here we see the multiplayer. We're on the Abraxas build, so they're sticking with the classics. We have some sort of a mini-map on the scanner tool, which is super handy when you're playing with multiple people. The biome looks absolutely stunning. We see some of the creatures we've already seen in trailers. And then here you see Virtual Dawn building an exit hatch, presumably, to a base. Also, you can see that their character switched from the first shot to the other shot. Still kind of making me hope for character creator, but who knows. Here we can also see some other tools. Something else in the quick access slot. Is that perhaps the DNA modificator? I'm not quite sure. Also, some interesting UI in the bottom left. I wonder if that has to do with integrity of the base. Not quite sure. And here we, of course, see them zooming around on that new vehicle. It looks freaking awesome. It's like a tiny Seamoth hybrid with the sea truck. Looks wicked fast, too. Here we can see the repair tool being used. Again, it has the Altera logo on it, confirming that we are presumably still working for them. There is the kitty poster behind them, which is, of course, the most important thing to take away from this video. And here, of course, we get the first glimpse of a Leviathan being created. This is maybe that squid monster that we see in the trailer, or maybe some spawn of it. I cannot wait to see this thing in the game. And here we see presumably some sort of a test scene. Very interesting outfit on the person. I actually really love the design of this one. And then some strange thing at the bottom emitting a lot of bubbles. No clue what this could be. Maybe some version of the brain coral? And here, finally, I want to point out that on this shot, we can actually see some other stuff as we see coral gardens, shallows, shallow fields, and then something called the start zone. So maybe a glimpse of some of the biomes you can see. Anthony ends this vlog with prompting all of us to give them suggestions, join the Discord, and participate in the discourse, because that is how they get a lot of the feedback and suggestions about what we as the community want to see. So I highly implore you guys to go join that Discord. And I hope you enjoyed this little update about how Subnautica 2 is looking. Still no early access date yet, but they did confirm it is coming this year, and I could not be more excited. So with that, I'm gonna wish you all a beautiful rest of today. If you liked the video, maybe consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing, and I'm gonna see you all in whatever next video I make. Bye bye.